Welcome to Channel. The night began with a sense of anticipation hanging in the air. Fans filed into the arena with jerseys, banners, and energy that could be felt from the moment the doors opened. Seattle supporters in green and black waved flags proudly, while Chicago fans countered with chants, making sure their voices carried across the building. This was more than just another regular season matchup. It was a battle between two franchises with deep pride and big ambitions. The lights dimmed slightly as the teams were introduced. Every player's name echoed through the arena, each cheer growing louder, each boo sharper, depending on the jersey announced. By the time the opening tip approached, the crowd was buzzing, fully alive, ready to erupt at the first big play. Cameras zoomed in on focused faces. Players stretched and bounced in place, trying to keep nerves in check, though the adrenaline was impossible to hide. The referee held the ball high, the whistle blew, and the tip-off was underway. Chicago gained early possession, and their point guard wasted no time establishing the pace. She zipped a pass inside to her forward, who muscled up a contested shot that dropped in to open the scoring. The roar from the Sky fans was thunderous. Seattle answered quickly on the other end with a silky jumper from the elbow, showing they weren't going to be rattled. Back and forth it went, possession by possession, basket for basket, as neither team allowed the other to pull ahead. Seattle began pressing the ball handler early, trying to disrupt Chicago's rhythm. Their guard picked up full court, forcing a turnover that led to an easy transition bucket. The Storm bench leapt to their feet, towels waving, energy flooding the floor. Chicago responded with poise, slowing the game down and working through their post players. A strong drop-step move inside drew contact and sent their center to the free throw line, where she calmly sank both shots. The pace quickened as the first quarter rolled on. Both teams traded highlight-worthy plays. Chicago's wing sliced into defenders with a gorgeous Euro step. Seattle's guard drilling a deep three off a handoff, a fierce block at the rim that brought fans out of their seats. Every play carried weight. Every possession felt like a statement. Coaches barked instructions, adjusting defenses, calling sets, urging their players to lock in. Midway through the quarter, Chicago strung together a small run. A steal at midcourt, a fast break layup, and then a transition three put them up by 5. Their bench exploded, momentum clearly on their side. But Seattle refused to let the moment grow. Their veteran leader took command, calmly hitting back-to-back jumpers to settle the team. The gap shrank instantly, and the Storm players walked back on defense with renewed confidence. As the clock ticked down toward the final minute of the quarter, the intensity only grew sharper. Both teams tightened their defense, contesting every shot, crashing every rebound. With less than 20 seconds left, Seattle had the ball, trailing by just 1. Their point guard dribbled at the top of the key, waited for a screen, and attacked. She crossed left, spun back right, and elevated. The ball sailed softly through the air and swished through the net as the buzzer rang. Seattle's players celebrated with fist pumps, while Chicago regrouped quickly, knowing this was going to be a fight until the very end. When the first quarter ended, the scoreboard showed Seattle holding a slim 23-22 lead. The energy in the arena was electric, the fans on both sides louder than ever. What had started as a simple matchup was quickly turning into a showdown, one that promised drama, emotion, and unforgettable moments with every passing quarter. The buzzer sounded to begin the second quarter, and the atmosphere inside the arena was electric. Fans were still buzzing from the dramatic close of the first period, and with just a 1-point difference on the scoreboard, the stage was set for another 10 minutes of basketball intensity that would test strategy, execution, and composure. Both coaches turned to their benches, and the change in energy was immediate. Chicago's reserves came in with fire in their eyes. Their backup guard pressured the ball full court, forcing Seattle to waste precious seconds just across half court. That defensive aggression set the tone, and the crowd roared with approval, feeding off every bit of hustle. On offense, the Sky's second unit played loose and fearless. A crisp ball reversal found their young sharpshooter in the corner, and she released the ball in rhythm. The shot dropped perfectly through the net, pushing the lead to 4 as the fans leapt to their feet. Seattle wasn't rattled. Their bench responded through effort and grit, crashing the glass on consecutive possessions. One rebound was turned into a quick putback layup, and the next trip earned free throws. The Storm bench didn't just steady the team, they made their presence felt and silenced the crowd for a moment. Chicago tried to seize control with a flurry midway through the quarter. Their veteran point guard orchestrated a 7-point run almost entirely by herself. First, she attacked baseline and finished a crafty layup. Then she curled off a high screen and Chicago tried to seize control with a flurry midway through the quarter. Their veteran point guard orchestrated a 7-point run almost entirely by herself. First, she attacked baseline and finished a crafty layup. Then she curled off a high screen and drained a smooth mid-range jumper. On the very next play, she picked off a pass, sprinted the other way, and finished in transition. The building erupted. For the first time all night, Chicago had an 8-point cushion, their largest lead, and Seattle's bench looked unsettled. Their coach quickly called timeout, huddling his players together and reminding them to breathe, to trust the system, and to control the pace of the game. Coming out of break, Seattle answered like a team with championship DNA. Their offense slowed down, their passing sharpened. 4 crisp passes around the arc ended in a wide-open corner 3 that swished through the net. On the very next trip, they executed the same action but reversed it to the opposite wing. Another 3. In less than a minute, the deficit was cut in half, and their bench exploded with life. That offensive rhythm bled into their defense. They clamped down on Chicago, forced a contested shot, and smothered the rebound. When Chicago failed to get shot off before the shot clock expired, the noise in the building shifted from confidence to concern. The game had turned into a battle of willpower, with the crowd living and dying on every possession. When Chicago's forward spun baseline for a slick reverse layup, the place shook. But seconds later, Seattle's guard pulled up from several feet behind the arc and drilled a deep 3 to quiet the noise in an instant. The tension in the building was palpable, a nervous energy hanging over every play. The defense was just as thrilling as the offense. Seattle center rose up to reject a layup at the rim, swatting the ball so hard it bounced toward midcourt. Their bench erupted, waving towels and shouting. Not to be outdone, Chicago's guard anticipated a pass on the next play, stripped it clean, and dove onto the floor to secure possession. She somehow flipped the ball forward while sliding across the hardwood, leading to a fast break finish the other way. The crowd roared back to life, rewarding the hustle with a standing ovation.